Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. Today is stage 7 of the Vuelta a Catalunya. Now, being the last stage, you know it's going to be big time explosive on today's race. 135 kilometers, just over 80 miles in length, and they're going to do 6 laps of a circuit of 7 kilometers. Now, 2 kilometers of the lap is going to be uphill, stair-stepping, but the very final part of the road, super steep for 500-600 meters. And you look at the pedestrians' way to go up, it's all 180 switchbacks all the way up. So you know the road to the top is crazy difficult, and that's where it's going to make the selection here on stage 7 of Vuelta a Catalunya. Now, when the cameras come on, we look at Quick Step. It's strung out, single file back there. They're going full gas because they got a minute gap behind a solid breakaway of 8 riders. Carlos Verona's there, Guillaume Martin from Cofidis, Mikel Biscara from Euskaltel Euskadi, Jeffrey Bouchard from AG2R, Richard Carapaz, EF Education, along with his teammate Simon Carr, Ethan Hayter from Team Ineos, the sprinter, pulled the short straw. He's in the front brake. And then Gurmai from Jayco Alula is in there to round it out. These guys are going full gas, but behind, like I said and showed you, it's strung out back there. Jumbo-Visma's locked on up to the front group there of Quick Step. As Quick Step's going full gas, we all know the MO. They've ridden pretty much every stage here at Vuelta a Catalunya, and they're going to try to blow it up again for Remco Evenepoel to try to dislodge Primož Roglič and try to win the general classification here on the last stage of Vuelta a Catalunya. Now, when they come into the circuit, we see the gap's down to about 50 seconds, 55 seconds there to the group of 8 with Remco's team driving full gas. We'll get on lap 5, and that's when things get a little bit interesting in the front group because De La Cruz, he's going to start attacking and get a little bit of a gap. Behind, we see Quick Step, Pseudo Quick Step is down to 3 riders and 1 Remco Evenepoel. Now, to keep it a little bit interesting, it looks a little bit different here because Jan Hurt is the first guy on the front of the peloton here. Matteo Cattaneo second, Remco sitting third, and then his teammate Ian Van Wilder is fourth wheel. Now, further up on the 5th lap, we're going to see Jan Hurt pull off, and this is when Matteo Cattaneo gets on the front and starts driving it for Quick Step. He's bringing the gap closer and closer to the front group of 8. Then all of a sudden, we start 4 laps to go. This is when Matteo Cattaneo's got to go to work. We see the Pseudo Quick Step has the peloton all strung out back there, and he's going to roll up to most of the breakaway riders there with Carlos Verona looking left over his shoulder, realizing that this is the end of his Vuelta a Catalunya, and Movistar is going home without any stage victories. Still one more rider up the road, though, as De La Cruz from Astana still trying to hold off the chase from behind. With Matteo Cattaneo pulling over, it's time for Ian Van Wilder to do a hard pull on the front. Now, he's only going to pull for 200-300 meters, just the way I talked about earlier on the Butterfly Effect when I said you just got to go explosive. Ian Van Wilder's throwing down, and then we're going to see the catch of the final breakaway rider, Astana's De La Cruz, with Ian Van Wilder on the front, and right after that, Remco Evenepoel goes to work and throws in his big-time attack. Now, on the wheel is going to be Primož Roglič, and then third is going to be Marc Soler. Now, I want to back the film up just a little bit. Let's go slightly back down the hill just a little bit because right when we saw Ian Van Wilder start pulling, that's when we also saw Marc Soler and UAE Team Emirates move up to the left side of the peloton to get up to Primož Roglic's wheel. So this was a great move for Marc Soler to preempt the attack of Remco Evenepoel. So with this attack of Remco Evenepoel going full gas, Primož Roglič locked on solid. We see Soler's there, third position, and we see Almeida's opening up the gap, his teammate. That's third on the general classification. The 3 riders get a gap. Won't be too much longer because Remco Evenepoel is going to throw down as he tries to summit here with 4 laps to go. Only Primož Roglič can hold the wheel, and there Soler starts to open up the gap. They come down over the right turn and down the descent. They got a gap on the Spaniard behind who's chasing full gas trying to get back up. After they come off the descent, make the right turn, start going back up the hill, we'll see Marc Soler, UAE Team Emirates, find his way back up to this front 2 leaders here at Catalunya. Now, Primož Roglič, he'll roll through a little bit, but just softly. It's a little questionable. You're taking some risk. Again, you've left all your teammates, but if you can hold the wheel and if you feel good and if you're going to soft pedal, you can get away with this, right? But remember, any mechanical problems, any flat tires, he loses Catalunya right here because he has no teammates by him. So I'd always prefer just sitting on the Belgian rider full time all the way for the next 3 laps. As they come down to lap 3 to go, we see Soler, he's pulling on the front, but this was the only time I saw Marc Soler pull is when they came across the line with 3 to go and make the right turn to start the climb again. Now, this 3rd lap, kind of interesting. It was a little bit of a stalemate with the 3 riders up front because Remco Evenepoel wasn't throwing in any attacks when we go up this climb. But behind, when we look at the chase group, Bora Hansgrohe's the team chase it. They had their guys on the front, full gas, trying to bring these 3 leaders back, but they're not making any inroads up there because they just don't have the horsepower of Remco Evenepoel and a soft pulling Primož Roglič at the front. Now, we come around with 2 to go. The gap is extended out all the way to 50 seconds, close to a minute up there to the 3 guys because Bora Hansgrohe wasn't making any inroads back there. As we see the 3 leaders, with 2 to go, hit the climb for the next time up. Now Remco Evenepoel is going to throw in a big acceleration. This is going to dislodge Marc Soler as the UAE Team Emirates rider comes off the back, and he's stuck in nowhere land. He doesn't have a shot at winning the stage, and he's not back with the peloton. Doesn't have any teammates to help him get back up front. As we look at the gap over the right turn at the summit at the KOM, we see that as Remco Evenepoel's got the gap on the Spaniard behind, but not Primož Roglič because he's locked in solid. Now, going down the descent and all the way through this next lap, we'll see Primož Roglič do some pulling at the front, but again, always a little bit soft on the Belgian rider, but with the Belgian rider doing the majority of the work. We go up with 1 lap to go, up the climb, the final time. Remco Evenepoel throws out the elbow, then looks over his shoulder. He wants Primož Roglič to come through, and Roglič does. Again, each time, I'm pretty certain Primož Roglič is soft pedaling, not throwing in a big time effort, but he is helping the pace out. Now, it looks like there's a little bit of communication between the 2 riders because if Remco Evenepoel can go over the top of the KOM, he'll take the KOM jersey from Primož Roglič. And I think something's being made else along the way when they're chatting right here because the last time up the climb, Remco Evenepoel never puts in a big-time acceleration or an attack on Primož Roglič. Behind became very interesting. Soler's just dangling off in front of the peloton, and it's UAE Team Emirates that's chasing full gas with Adam Yates on the front and Almeida sitting second wheel. Now, Adam Yates is pulling hard because we see the group is strung out there, and we'll see the bringing in time on Soler. Crazy scenario here. Marc Soler, 4th on the general classification. Almeida, 3rd on the general classification. Makes it look like UAE Team Emirates is chasing down Soler. And I got to believe that's what's happening because that's the only thing I could read into it, right? UAE Team Emirates tactics have been a little bit strange. They tried, of course, to put Soler up there in that front group, and he popped 2 laps into it. And now they have no shot at winning the stage. Soler wants to move up onto the podium here at Vuelta a Catalunya, but Adam Yates and Almeida aren't having any of it as they're pulling full gas. Now, Soler's just barely holding off over the top of the KOM. As you can see, Almeida going full gas in the picture there. We come down to the last right turn to the finish. Primož Roglič up front leading Remco Evenepoel and just pulling into the line. 100 meters to go. Remco Evenepoel accelerates to the right of Primož Roglič, runs all the way to the line, raises his hands up and throws out the number 1 fingers when he's posting up for the poster victory here of stage 7 of Vuelta a Catalunya. Primož Roglič is satisfied crossing the line second because he's going to win the general classification. Soler just back there holding off the peloton as he crosses the line. De La Cruz, who was one of the original guys in the 8 breakaway and the last to get caught, like I told you here on the butterfly effect, holds off for a top 10 to finish 8th on the stage. So fantastic ride, De La Cruz from Astana. Now, in the post interviews, this was really interesting in the post interviews because Remco Evenepoel was asked a lot of questions. He said he had the best team here. Okay, that's probably he had the best team, but we don't know because, of course, Primož Roglič, Jumbo-Visma squad, never had to ride the front because Quick-Step did the whole time. But Sepp Kuss looks solid on every stage except for today where he was hurting a little bit, getting dropped with the big attack from Ian Van Wilder's acceleration, followed by Remco Evenepoel's attack. So, Quick-Step, I think, in my mind, looked to be the strongest here, but not the outright strongest. Remember, when it comes to Jumbo-Visma, they don't have to ride far into the mountain stages. Only Sepp Kuss did, and he rode far into every mountain stage. Even today, there wasn't a big need for him to ride into that front group there when he already had 2 teammates that finished there with the UAE Team Emirates led peloton across the line. So when we're talking about Remco Evenepoel's speech and he talks about how, well, Primož Roglič was wearing the race leader's jersey, so it's easier to defend than it is to attack. Well, it's true. That's why I told you when you won your stage, but you posted up 30 meters to go and gave up 2 seconds, and the race leader's jersey, well, you were a knucklehead move, and you just proved that in your interview, because I agree 100%. It is easier to defend than to attack, but guess what? We don't really know where Primož Roglic's form is. I can tell you this 100%. When a rider wins a race, you only know he's at least that good because nobody pushed him to find out how far he had to go. Now, without a doubt, Remco Evenepoel pushed Primož Roglic a bit and probably had him near his limit. That's how he won that stage. But we don't know for sure, right? We only know that Remco Evenepoel pushed Primož Roglic to the limit, we think, and we're pretty sure on that, but 100% sure we can't say. So, Remco Evenepoel, if you had just won that stage straight up and threw your bike and put yourself in the race leader's jersey, at this point in time, we would know for sure who the best rider in the race is. But instead, all we can assume is Primož Roglic is better than Remco Evenepoel because he won 2 stages too. He dominated the race, and sure, he stayed on the Belgian rider's wheel all the way to the finish of every stage, but that's all you have to do if you're intelligent and tactically you're doing the right moves to win yourself the race for Jumbo-Visma, which they did. Primož Roglic, in his interview, he got asked what's coming up next. He's got a little bit of a holiday, and then he's going to get himself ready for the Giro d'Italia without any race mileage before the Giro starts. So it's always interesting when a rider finishes, goes a month and a half, and then into a big race. I know Primož Roglic from past history has shown he's capable of doing this. So when we get to the Giro d'Italia, the big-time showdown between these two riders, this week of racing was fun to watch. But the Giro d'Italia, of course, is going to be the #1 objective for both the riders here. But at this moment, Primož Roglic has won the 2023 lead-up into the Giro d'Italia and is the #1 favorite when the Giro starts. He is the #2 best rider in the world, in my opinion, up here on the Butterfly Effect. Remco Evenepoel, you're still #3. Gave us a little bit of doubt there earlier when you won your stage here. But you haven't been able to beat Primož Roglic. Primož Roglic raced fantastic. Congratulations. That was a fantastic overall victory for Jumbo-Visma and Primož Roglic. And all the racing and the stages were fantastic. A little bit of the end here was a little bit of a letdown because I could see that they were doing a little bit of talking there with half a lap to go going up the last climb. But nonetheless, I loved all the racing. Fantastic. Hope you guys liked it too. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next edition of the Butterfly Effect real soon.